Alright, you're with Al, and this is Down the Line. So this week, me and the Biff were talking to James Morrison, and James has been on European tour for a long time, very similar length of time to Paul. They've grown up playing a lot of the same sort of stuff through England golf and then making their way out on European tour. I only met James a couple of weeks ago at that pro-am at Worplesdon, but he was really keen to come on. I don't know why, but he was, so thanks a lot, James, for doing it. Some great stories he's got about playing on tour over his time, sort of the ups and downs of the game and how it can change your emotions, how it affects you outside of the golf. I think it's really relative to everyone that plays and has experienced kind of the joys of playing great and then how it affects you if you don't. And on that note, actually, he's a man after my own heart because he has been known to have a little bit of a head off at times, which sometimes I'm a fan of that. So waste no more time, we'll get on with it. Who has had the biggest head offs?
I've known you quite a long time now, mate, to be fair. And obviously this guy here as well, Albo.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wondering who's had the better head off between the two of you. Because I've seen nuclear levels of like head explosions off the pair of you, to be fair.
You like a bit of that. You like a bit of that, James.
Well, it's funny you just say that because I'm patron of a charity called Challengers and did like an online chat in lockdown. And one of the questions was, do you lose your temper? Of which I took 11-minute chat reeling off that I've got clubs dispersed in every continent in the world. So I actually reeled it off. There's a lob wedge in the pond in Portugal. There's a 3, 4 and a 5 iron in Wales over the bush on the 10th. There's a rescue in Turkey over the bush in 2. There's a wedge and a 7 iron in the King's Pond in Morocco. There's a whole set of irons in Perth. Perth wasn't actually a head off, right? The week before was Malaysia, and I thought, you know what? I'm swinging it. I can use blades. So I put a new set of blades in Malaysia. Finished top 10. So Danny Willett week before won the Masters. A week after, near when he won the Masters anyway. So put a new set of blades in. Oh, it's a fantastic. Finished top 10. These are brilliant. Thursday, Perth could not strike a match. A lady scoring with us. I said to her, "Oh, does your son play?" Because yeah, he's off 4. He's want a new set of clubs. He's like, "Well, if you give them away," he said, "Well, they're going to go in the bin, so they're not leaving this golf course. So it's up to you if you want them or not." So got the scorer's hut, and all the clubs came out the bag. Went, there you go. Here's a new set of clubs. And I didn't play there for about 4 or 5 years. I went back there. I think it was either last year or year before. And in my locker was a handwritten letter from my son saying, "Thank you for the clubs. I'm still using them." So I saw him that week. This using them longer than I ever used them for. And it lasted 2 weeks for me. He's been using them for 4 years. So yeah.
That's class.
Yeah, another one experience of mine was in Schwani Open in Africa. And I've never got through that lights. Finally, all down the range Wednesday. Get a Chris 3 with this yellow, grey shaft, whatever it was. It's brilliant. My caddy, it's the best. Do not let me break this. This is the best through I've ever had.
I love that.
Right.
Telling you, caddy, let me
this could be in forever. Like, this is my defining moment. When I'm in the Open, this is on the wall, this 3-wood. Anyway, Saturday morning, I'm doing all right. Just started to hit 3-wood out of fairway trap over a lip. Vroom, straight into the lip, back down. I'll have another go. Vroom, into the lip. Bang! Over the knee. Oh, don't bring that over. Fuck off with that 3-wood. And he gave it back to him. He's like... it took another year to find another 3-wood I liked after that. So, never mind. But I keep going on about breaking clubs. And the one thing I'm good at,
you're not meant to do.
If there was an order of merit, I'd be leading it. I think be up there anyway.
It's everything you're not meant to do, though, isn't it? Like, get a bad shot, just like take a deep breath, don't react, keep neutral, but you just stand up and try and smash it again.
And the problem is the caddy's saying deep breath, don't react, and I'm reacting even more. I'm taking no breaths. To the next hole. Where's the 7 iron? Oh, it's in the bush. Oh, brilliant.
I'm not being funny, but I feel good about my mentality now.
No, it's terrible. What else I was going to say? Never mind.
But this is the thing, Noah. Like, on a serious note, it's like if James is the epitome that you can play golf even like if you're just yourself. Yeah. Not saying be like James. James a lunatic.
Don't be like me.
Yeah, no, he's a full-blown lunatic. But he's a 2-time winner on tour. And that's the way he is.
Yeah, and
not
everyone
trying to
tells you
change
to
it.
be flat, calm all the time.
Right, exactly. It's like Till Hatton. I mean, if you were to tell him to completely overhaul his game and become a massive practicer and a real big gym buff, and then trying to be a real try and be a real in the zone golfer, he'll be terrible. Probably. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't change the way you are.
I was going to say, Jack, you came to the game late, didn't you?
Yeah, I started playing golf late. Yeah, when I was 16. So
not play before that.
I played once every 5 years. The old man had a crap set of clubs I had for years. They're actually fake Callaways, believe it or not. They were
Galloway.
What are they called?
I remember one's called Canterbury Big Bursa. They had some.
And they looked just the same. And you could not.
The big thick ones.
Yeah, exactly. So the old man had a brand new set of Callaways, and I had the fake ones, which is fine. And I never played. So Dad's like, "Come on, play." I said, "No, I can't bother. I want to play cricket." So I played cricket up until I was 18. So I played cricket for England, Surrey, the whole way through.
Right.
And that was my life. So I started playing golf when I was 16, and just kind of enjoyed it really just straight off the bat. And even now, I mean, even Nobed in front of us says, "Oh, I hate the game. I hate the game. I hate the game." But we all love it. That's why I love playing the game, and I got that passion really quickly for it, and then haven't really looked back since.
We always get asked, don't we? I was like, "Oh, so my son's off scratch at 14. Has he got a chance? You know, he's off +2 at 18, whatever." And it's like, well, you can't really judge.
No.
You just can't judge it on that. There's so many different ways of doing it. You know, me personally, I played county golf when I was younger and came all the way through. And, you know, there's some lads like yourself that didn't really get serious about it until they were 18 anyway.
The good thing about golf is you're not relying on a coach picking you or a selection team picking you. If you shoot 68, you shoot 68. There's nothing to it. And that's why I like it, because the ball was always in our court, whether it's football, rugby, cricket. You've got to fit the team. You've got to fit into the coach or the manager's view of what the team should be doing. And you're at the mercy of someone else picking you, whereas golf, all that matters is the score you shoot. That's the beauty of the game. You can play in any way you want to play, any time.
Yeah, you live and die by that score, don't you? And I think that's something.
Yeah, exactly.
But like over the years, I've been very much the opposite and been like, "Oh, I'm playing really well, but I shot 74. Or I'm playing really well, but I shot 75, and I'm hitting it great." And you kind of think you deserve more all the time, and you think, "Well, why am I shooting these scores?" And you go out and you're trying to explain to people. You go out and sometimes, I'd shoot bad numbers and you'd be like, "I've just shot 82. Oh, but," and I'd always be trying to justify to people. I'd be like, "But I'm all right. Like, I'm quite good at golf. I'm all right." But actually, you know what? You shot 82. That's what it is. Like,
score's a score.
Can't argue with it, can you?
No, of course you can't.
It is.
Of course you can't. And that's what I find great about tour golf is it's not about how pretty it looks or whether am I good on the P1 and P3. Or it doesn't matter. Tour golf is the art of it is scoring, and like I say, you live and die by the score, and the score is all that matters. And even we get stuck into what does it look like? How can I get better? But if you shoot 68,
that's exactly what I'm trying to get him to deal with at the moment, because he is full on technical knobhead.
When you're pointing there, you're like pointing off the other end of the screen to me. I don't know if you're actually
that side then. You're that side.
If you've got someone else next to you who you're pointing at, or you're pointing at me. Yeah.
Well, right. The guy next to me, whichever side he's on.
Who's he sat with there?
Yeah. Robert
That
Taylor's
is
next to him.
Alan, and that is you, Al. Like, you're so technical at times.
That's learned habits, though, isn't it? That's what I've done. It's what I've done for the past since I was probably about 20. I reckon I've done that. So 15 years. That's how I've worked. And before that, I probably shot better numbers when I was 20, 21. But I'd say, back to what we were just saying then, James, I'd say I was a better golfer now, miles better golfer now. Well, actually, I'm not, because I probably shot better scores then.
Well, exactly.
So, but I swung it worse, but didn't know I swung it worse. Didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no fear at all, like no fear, just smash it everywhere as hard as you can. And playing that aggressive game, and that's exactly what Paul's talking about, trying to get into that more mentality where you're in your game more so, and we go out and try and make as many birdies as you can, have that game, get into that sort of mentality. You can't afford to have fear in the game, especially when you're playing on tour, regardless what level that's at. You can't play with any fear because someone's always going to go and shoot 64. Always.
Of course they are.
You must have seen that a few times, James, where you play in, somewhere you can play a couple of practice rounds or pro-am or something. This place is, it's not easy, this place. This place is quite tough.
No,
and then you look at the scoreboard on Thursday and 63. You're like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
didn't see that.
Yeah. Exactly. You always sit there and you always try not to think about the cup. You try to gauge where you're at. You think, well, okay, winning score could be 7 under, cut will be 3 over. You're there at the airport Friday afternoon, having been 3 over par, and missed the cut by 6. Some bloke minus 15 after 2 rounds. Well, that went really well, didn't it? I've really cracking predictions there. Like you're playing protective golf from the start because you think it's more difficult than it actually is, and it shows you play with any fear or play with any ceiling. You got to play golf with no ceiling, right? I can shoot as low a score as I want to shoot, and I mean, back to the technical thing. I was watching some reruns of my old swing actually from sort of 15, 16 when I played my best golf. My swing was terrible. Floppy, slow, like swipey. It was awful.
Yeah.
I'm better now. I'm probably 25 longer off the tee than I was back then. But I'm playing worse. But it doesn't matter. It's like, who gives a shit what it looks like? Who cares if you get better or not? It's the end product. And it's like, and like there's always someone who shoots a 64, 65, 63. And unfortunately, you just can't play any fee. You just got to tee it up and fly, whether you like it or not.
So how do you get, if you two obviously have both shot, like, well, James, you just shot 58.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
St. George's Hill. And
off the Reds, what I haven't told him was off the Reds. And I was playing off 6. Really, it's a 6.
net. So you get into that zone. How do you train yourself to play without that fear? Because, regardless whether at that point when you're shooting 58, regardless whether it's a tournament or you're playing with your mates or whatever, where, obviously know you can break 60. Or when you say you're up there in a tournament, you're playing, you've got to par the last or you got to birdie the last or whatever. How do you keep yourself in that aggressive mentality and not fear of losing what you've already gained? Thinking if you're 7 under for a round, whatever it is, how do you keep going? How do you keep on thinking, keep pushing another birdie? Because that's the only way you can shoot 61, 62. We see so many people, even at club golf. Yeah. Like, I was 5 under my handicap with 2 to play and I finished 9-11. I hear all the time. But how do you keep that mentality of keep doing what you've been doing? I find that. Yeah, I get it.
58 was only in friendly golf, so you can't really. I'm not really going to sort of. But when you're playing in tournament golf and you're going well on a Thursday or Friday or Saturday, whatever it is, but it's a hard one. People say don't get ahead of yourself. But with what me and playing on tour like me and Paul do, you have to get ahead of yourself because there's a greater thing to work towards. It's not about that round. You're going low, but it's like, okay, where am I on the leaderboard? Right, I'm 1 behind. So you've got to keep going, and there's always something else to work towards. It's unlike if it's a 1-round event, you've got to keep going. But at the end of the day, that's what you work for. You work to be in that position. Everyone's on the range, hitting balls, practicing in the gym for that moment. And when you get there, you've got to convince yourself this is where I should be, and I'm going to soak it all in, and enjoy it.
I had years of setting goals, and this is where I want to get to. Goals, goals, got to achieve this, that, and the other. And anytime I got near a goal, I couldn't quite get over that line because I'd set my sights on this goal. Now I just don't set any goals.
Well, no. Well, if you put a goal up in headlights and you make it such a massive deal, top 100 in the world or winning an event, but when those lights go out, now what happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so you're better off just taking it along and make it really achievable goals, like whether it's technical, whether it's in the gym,
something daily.
Daily, whether it's just something easy to reach to, because you set unrealistic goals, you're never going to achieve them. So in your head, you're always failing, and that's why. And at the end of the day, being on a leaderboard it's our job. If you want to get paid, you've got to go forward. Simple as that.
Yeah.
We all like making money and having nice things. If you want to get paid, you've got to keep going low, because before you know it, you're back down tied 58th, making nothing. So and everyone has their own things to work towards. But like us, we went out there for long enough to know that you just got to keep your foot down and keep going. And also a lot of that comes from failing, right? I mean, you have to fail first before you can kind of go forward. And when you're failing, you think, well, actually, the hardest bit is to take a step back and actually realise, why did I fail?
Yeah.
What am I failing at? So the next time you're there, it's actually a lot easier. And also on tour, it's not about talent or ability because everyone's there. The area is very thin on tour because everyone's there because they're the best in the world. So the only thing that separates from anybody else is the mental side of it. So
failing can be the worst thing that can happen to you, or it could be the best thing that can happen to you. I think you've got to almost decide what way you're going to go with it, because we've all been there and you've walked off the golf course absolutely raging and you're not willing to take any positives out of it. And I remember my dad used to say to me, he was like, yeah, but Al, it's all experience. This is like when I was a junior. It's all experience. And I'd be like, I don't want the experience. How's that good experience? Like, how's that good experience? I mean, like, just wasn't having any of it. But if you could actually take a step back and say, Al, you know what, let's not lose the plot. I was about 8 at that time I'm talking about.
You either win or you learn.
There you go. That's yours, isn't it?
Write that down on your arm.
Trademark
that down.
Trademark that one, definitely.
That one's for free, that one.
But for Paul, what's been your biggest thing? Because also you played great the last couple of years, and for us, looking from the outside, you're kind of finally fulfilling your potential and more. And what's been the biggest thing for you? Because obviously you've always had all the talent in the world, but we all feel like you're kind of going in the right direction. I know injury and stuff for you has been also a different thing, but also a mentality thing too.
Paul, just before you get into it, Paul, just before you get into that, James, is that because that's the perception from the outside of Paul, exactly what you've just said. So didn't mean to interrupt, Paul, but just before you get in, is it like, we all see Paul local and say how good a golfer he is, and you know how good a golfer he is. That's the perception on tour of him as well, isn't it?
It's all the same. The perception's the same. He's got no mates, a dickhead, no one wants to be with him, but also he's a great golfer at the same time. Yeah, that's what we all think. Exactly it's a common thing. No, as on tour, we always kind of say that you when you play with people, you know who have it and who haven't got it. And I mean, and the hardest thing on tour is when you know people can't even do your shoelaces up as a golfer, and they're beating you week in, week out. It's the most frustrating thing. But I know Paul's been injured and had other issues, but been on tour for what now? Well, I know you've been on tour 13 years because I played with you at Tour School when you got your card.
There you go, yeah. Mate, 13 years.
So for us, I mean, it's the same thing. Sorry, Paul, but on tour, we always think as not massive underachiever, but obviously now, the last couple of years, you're now finally kind of pulling your finger out your ass and doing something.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate that. No, mate, honestly, it's just the mental side of it. It's a funny one, like just starting to, that whole thing of believing, but at the same time, what we just talked about there, about being not setting goals, like I kind of had, a lot of people saying, oh, you should be winning, you should be doing that. I'm like, oh, why aren't I winning? Yeah, I should be winning, yeah, so that's going to be a goal, to win. I should be top 60 on the order of merit. I should be top 100 in the world. That's a goal. And then I kept trying to get to these points where I don't know. I was almost listening to everyone else and not really drumming down into what I wanted and who I was. If you know what I mean, it was kind of like, this is where you should be. Why aren't you getting there? So every time I didn't do something, I'd feel a bit more of we use it for, a bit more of a failure every time I failed. So I'd actually lost more and more confidence as I was going through it, where I got to a point, mate, and I said this on the last couple of days, I just don't care anymore.
Exactly.
And I know that's
but there's caring and not caring. It's completely different. You obviously care, but you don't care, which is the biggest thing.
I care in my day-to-day, and my training and my practice and all that sort of thing. When I pick it up in a tournament, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, massively.
But I've got too much better stuff in my life now to worry about shooting 74. Honestly, it just doesn't bother me. If I shoot 68, 67, great. If I shoot 74, well, there's always next week type thing. And I don't know, that whole thing about, sort of like chasing a score. And because I used to try not to look at leaderboards or anything like that, where now I actually do. But instead of going, the leader's at 15 under, It's like, and I'm at 12, trying to get to 15. It's like, well, the leader's going to get to 18, 19, 20. That's where I need to get to. And I don't know if you'd noticed, especially 2019, me and Ella had the same conversation. At weekends, I was just going ballistic.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, like shooting 10 under par weekends, like week in, week out.
A few times on the cut, didn't you? And just
went
mad at the weekend.
I just went mad at the weekend because I literally went, well, the leader's 12, he's going to get to 19 by the end of the week. That's where I need to get to. And even if the leader only got to 17, I'd then close the gap because I'd already put him so far out of sight that I play with so much freedom then getting up to that level.
Exactly. And as a big thing, playing with freedom, right? You look at people like Rory McIlroy. At the bottom of the ball, there's no fear, there's no hang back, there's no. It's just going forward. They're in a tunnel vision and they're just going forward. And that's how we all should be. And also I find that putting things in perspective, we say, oh, people at the clubs, you should win twice a year, every year for the next 10 years. Well, that's 20 wins. Well, if you win 3 times in your career, you've had a great career.
Yeah.
Right, like look at Paul McGinley. Ryder Cup's great. He won 3 times. All he's won. So
I think you only won three events.
Yeah. So you think people say, "Oh, you should be winning this, you should be winning that." Well, that's not realistic. Like look at the putting stats, right? Obviously, you may know better than I do. We get it completely wrong here, but I'm going to say it anyway. But 18 feet from 18 feet in the PGA Tour, like make percentages of like 17% or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But some people lip out from 20 feet. For me, if you put it in perspective, I shouldn't be making that putt.
Yeah.
That's gone in. Brilliant. I shouldn't be winning this event. I won this event. Brilliant. I've won twice. Oh, great. If you put things in perspective, I find that things come towards you really more than they do trying to search for it and run for it. I'm going to win. I'm going to do this. They're unrealistic. Where if you put it in perspective, things always come or sit in your lap. That's how I kind of see it anyway. So
realistic goal. You can't set that. Like you were saying before, Paul, you can't, if you go out and your goal is to win, you don't win. So that's knocked your confidence. Next week, goals to win, you don't win. Another knocked your confidence.
Oh, yeah.
It goes on because you're not, mate, if you win once a year, you're absolutely flying, but you're going to miss that goal 99% of the time. So if you can have more of a achievable goal every time, however small it is, whatever it might be to be plus in your strokes gained put in or plus strokes gained off the tee, whatever it is, it's something achievable. You do it, your confidence grows. Your goal isn't to win, but all of a sudden you've won and you go, wow, that all added up.
But also winning isn't everything. You look at the whole Michael Hoey stat. When Michael Hoey won in the Dunhill Links, when was that? 14 or 15, whenever that was. He'd been on tour on and off for about 10, 11 years at that point. And he had only had 7 top 10s in his tour career, of which 5 were wins.
Wow.
So he knows how to get a job done.
So, but then it shows you winning from a career standpoint doesn't always mean everything. Do you know what I mean? To get to the top 50 in the world and stay in the top 50 in the world, you've got to play well week in, week out. It's not about, great, I'm going to win. Then no one sees you for 6 months. Win again, disappeared. So I think there's a whole art to people say, "Oh, win, win, win," but it's not all about that. So
no, it's one of the funny sports where you can go a whole career never winning and being very, very successful in what you do. It's a very strange sport.
Of course you can. Yeah.
But back to what you were saying there, Al, about like the goals and like seeing levels. Like people watching this will be 25 handicappers, wanting to get into 19. There'll be mid handicappers trying to get into single figures, and it's like their goal will be single figures or breaking 80 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
you almost let go of that because then you'll play with actually more freedom. Okay, that can be a goal in your practice and stuff. But when you get on the golf course, you can't be thinking about, this is to get down to 9.4. Here we go.
Exactly.
I've just come back from the golf club now. At Bromborough, we have a 36-hole scratch competition, Bromborough Bowl, and one of the lads there, I teach him actually, Bill Coe, he won't mind me saying this, but he's off 9, I think he's off. He's playing 18, he's 2 over par playing 18.
Oh no.
And James, you played it in your Bromborough 2005.
What, have I played there?
There you go. He played semi-final against someone.
It was up there with the Jewel in the Sun in the Open. It was up there with that. I mean, there were people hanging out of trees, everything.
To be fair, our semi, James, you were, to put this into perspective, actually, hang on. So it was 2005. We were 19, 20 years of age.
Yeah.
You, not to bring this up, I'm pretty sure you were 7 under par.
I think I was about that, yeah.
7 under par and lost 2 and 1.
Really?
Yeah. I think people were down there moving the ball in the rough and all sorts. There's people everywhere. I got a lot of bad liars down the last few holes. So I'm guessing it wasn't all me. That's what I'm saying.
So
Well, I'm glad I didn't get through, Wazza, because I wouldn't want to play you that day. But yeah, so the 18th, you remember there's a big bunker up the right side of the green, like it's a really narrow green. So anyway, Bill goes off 9, and he said for ages, like, I want to get back down. He played off 5, he wants to get back down to it. So he's 2 over playing 18 today. Just birdied 16, 17. So I'm walking out to teach and see him, and he's in the bunker, and he's in a really bad spot in the bunker, in the right sort of back of the bunker. So he stood outside the bunker. So he's playing it sort of backwards to go, like, just chip it out. So he's got an easy chip. So his greenside bunker, pin eye for his 3rd shot. And his 4th shot, he had 77 yards in. It's gone so far. He's hit the strongest power shank you've ever seen out of the bunker. And it's gone like over onto the 17th and behind a tree. And I was like, just before I come on, I thought, well, that is typical of what we're talking about. Like, you've got a good score in your hand.
Yeah.
And something like that happens.
Of course it does.
Oh my God.
But things and that isn't the physical thing. It's not a golf game thing, because you can't change from a birdie 10 minutes ago to then shanking out of a trap. That's just purely mental. That's all it is. It's all.
Yeah, it's brutal. So James, you had your 2 wins, so you've had some really like big good times in golf. But I remember seeing an interview maybe was it last year before, where you were talking about the game was getting on top of you and you basically had enough of it, sort of debating quitting, really.
Yeah.
And then had you had a good finish that week or something, or you'd sort of got your head back in the game and you felt better about it? What was that sort of period? What was going on at that stage?
Well, yeah, it was a really tough, same as Paul, this is my 11th year on tour straight, and it's a lot of, and Qatar, when we finished, was my 300th event on the tour. So you play a lot of golf, and you get so stuck in the moment that you never actually take a step back and realise, you know what, to get to where I am now, I've done fucking well. You know what I mean? Yeah. To be that long on tour and play that many events and made a little bit of cash on the way, I think actually I've done well, but you lose perspective of stuff, and everything becomes a massive burden. So for me, there's always that thing of trying to get better. So for me, it started at the end of 15, 16. I'm top 70 in the world. I'm flying. I'm playing all the majors. This is me set now. I've got to get better. Change coaches, change putters, change. No. It's I've got to get better. And a year goes past.
Change putters though, didn't you? Because you probably snapped it. So.
Well, that's why they didn't snap. I had the same putter for 6 years. That was like the holy grail. Couldn't go near it.
Right.
And but you think you got to get better. You start, and before you know it, a year's gone past. 2 years goes past. 3 years goes past. I'm now out of exemption from winning in Spain. I think, fucking hell. The game was easy a minute ago. Now it's difficult. And then you spiral. And you think, and the game gets on top of you. And you've got life outside of that. School, Finn, my son, my wife, all sort of stuff kind of comes into it. And you feel like it gets so cloudy in the brain. And I wasn't enjoying it.
You just get down like a rabbit hole, don't you? You just keep going down this rabbit hole.
Exactly. And there's no light in it.
You can't, once you get down that rabbit hole as well, James, you can't then just stop and start again. You've almost got to climb all the way back out of it again.
You have to.
Before you can do it.
Yeah, you have to. So I got to the point last year where I feel like I was on the verge of some sort of mental breakdown. I was sitting with my wife, and then with my fitness trainer, Dr. Justin Buckthorpe, he's my everything, my mentor. I mean, I would marry him if I could. I mean, he is up there. He was my fitness trainer, S&C coach, psychologist, nutritionist, functional medicine. He does everything with me. Also, he works with Justin Rose, been with Rosie for the last 10 years. So he's brilliant at what he does. And went to the gym. He's like, "You all right, mate?" "Yeah, I'm fucking great, yeah." He sat there and I just burst into tears. And that was
Really?
And that was kind of the start of the rebuild, where it was you have to be vulnerable with the people around you to get better, and you keep building it inside. It's going to be all right. Going to be all right. And you go from week to week to week to week, searching with that feel, that driver shaft, that golf ball. Paul, have a look at that. We think, oh, that feels great. And under the pressure of high level sport, that's not sustainable. You can't keep doing that. And I was just getting in a massive run. And those 4 weeks off before Czech Republic, I think it was. And that was it, line in the sand. And I kind of said, if I'm doing it now, I'm doing it properly, because it just can't go on. I'm just peeling through cash every week. I'm peeling through my all the bit of sane marbles I've got left. They're all going, and you've got to take a step back and think, right, I'm not making any money here. I'm not getting any better. I'm just getting worse. I've got to get a hold of my shit now and get the right direction which I'm going with, and go from there. So then, but unless you're clear about that, it's hard to actually make any change. So in those 4 weeks, I kind of got really clear of what I was doing and started from the beginning, and had 11 events to go. I mean, I think at that time I was 171st in order of merit, whatever it was. I think I was at the time.
Long way away, that with not that many events to go.
11 events to go. Even 11 events seems like a long time. But I kept telling myself, right, I've been on tour for this long. I've got the experience and I can do this. And all of a sudden, the minute you get that love for the game back, the game becomes a hell of a lot easier. So then you reel off. I think I made every cut. I finished 4th in Holland. And then ticked along and end up doing all right, and then I ended up keeping my card in the end. But it comes from that whole learning and growing thing, whereas the 2 years before that, I wasn't learning, I wasn't growing at all. I was just going from week to week, just giving it a go. And the reality is, everything's dwindling. Your career, your money, and everything's just going down the pan. And you need to kind of take a kind of step back and realise that A, life will always be all right, and B, you've got to kind of have a real solid game plan of what you want to achieve and what you want to do to actually perform and actually play well. Because as we know, it takes 1 week on tour, and you're off and running again. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't take much to go the other way, but it takes a lot to go the other way. So it's so yeah, I had a real tough time last year, but I feel like I'm over it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of the way it is. And
I think what you said, you want to get the love for the game back as well. That's a massive, massive thing, is going out there, and regardless of everything that comes with it, you're making money and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, you have to kind of step back and say, you know what, I don't have to do this.
No, exactly.
Like, you don't have. You're not limited. You don't just have to play golf. You can. There's the whole range of anything you could do. At the end of the day, you're very fortunate to play golf. We all are really fortunate to play golf. And that's where I was, when you're talking about that, this is getting deep, isn't it, this, by the way?
I thought this was going to be a bit more light-hearted tonight, boys.
Whoever starts crying first has got to down their beer.
But when you're talking about that, the love for the game and everything, and I was playing Euro Pro I never really played a full season because I ended up being kind of afraid to play because I just kept missing cuts. So, and then I had a run where I made like quite a few in a row, and then I missed one and didn't make another cut. I'm like, what? Why is that sort of running? I was like, I loved the game, like absolutely loved it at that period before, and I love it now. But that period at that time, I was struggling, and I was struggling with short game and everything. And it was like, I'd put everything into it, like everything I could do to be good at golf, basically. And it wasn't working out, but I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And I was just hating it because I was missing every cut. And I was like, going home, fuming, but feeling really bad about myself because I was like, I shouldn't be fuming. I can't complain to anyone because I'm playing golf every week.
Yeah.
I was going to complain to someone, oh, he's crying, he's playing golf every week. But when you're in that situation, it is snowballing. It's hard to kind of stay away, but because you love the game and because that's what you want to do, above all, regardless of it being a job, it's your passion. It's hard to come out of it. It's so hard to stop. So difficult to stop doing it. Just saying.
Well, exactly. Like last year, I'm packing it. I'm walking. I'm going to get another job. And when you get to that point when you step over the ledge, it's like, actually, I love playing golf. I can't do this. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, the game drags you back, and like I say, you got to love it. And I love it. I'm playing at least 4 or 5 times a week out of lockdown. I mean, I'm golfed out. I need a break before UK swing. I've played too much golf. But like I said, the game is great, and you got to love doing it.
So you've got the UK swing, James. That's your plan, those 6 events?
Yeah, so, yeah, the UK swing would be great. I think it's brilliant. There's events I never played in on tour because they were never on there when I was on, before I got on tour. And it's nice to play in the UK. And yeah, I know it's behind closed doors and no crowds, but I think everyone's just dying to get back playing again.
I'll be looking forward to watching that. And if everyone wants to keep an eye out in breaking clubs, it's entertainment anyway. So,
well, I can start charging. If I could be like a circus act, couldn't I? Like break a hole break a club every other hole. I can do it.
Everyone knows
that with your fines, though. It's not going to work. It's not profitable. That
everyone that knows you give away golf clubs now will be like, I'll carry in his group.
Actually, funny you say that. I played with David Drysdale once. Right, we're in Madrid. It's 2010, I think it was. He had a 2-ball putter. He didn't putt very well, so I'm playing with him. I think Sunday morning. I think it was Sunday morning. He walks off the green ahead of me and gives his young kid his putter. Kid's like, see? I'm like, yeah. And I'm walking behind him. The kid's next to him, exactly what he said. Looked at me. Ball? A fucking ball? He just got a putter. And he gave it back to me. I was like, hello, back then. Put it in my pocket. Went to the locker room.
give it back.
He gave it back to me. I was like, oh, sorry, mate, but I like my putter. Oh, I'm not giving that away.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Class. All right, James. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Quality
I
that.
appreciate
Great to have
it,
you on.
mate. Thanks for coming on.
Stay safe, and I'll see you in Newcastle.
Yeah, you will, mate. See you up there.
See you, mate. See you,
All right,
guys.
cheers, buddy. Cheers, mate.
See you, mate.
Interesting.
I like his head offs.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
I like the fact that he has head off. You've been on pretty much same journey as him, really, haven't you? Started same time on tour.
Yeah.
Been right the way through.
Yeah. I think I got my card a year before James. I think I turned pro a little bit earlier than James. But yeah, well, you're in luck. We're doing a late one. I've had a beer. You're in.
I know.
Yeah, but like I know we joke about English Arm in 2005, but yeah, we played England golf. We did all that sort of stuff. I've known him for 20 years or whatever it is now. So you know, I've seen him. I was there when he won, you know, both times and stuff. And you know, you watched him develop into, you know, like you said, top 100 in the world. I think he got to 60 something in the world. So you know, he's
well, that's funny because that's pretty much where you've got to.
Yeah, just a lot later than he had.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with James, well, he probably does do himself a bit of a disservice at times, and he might get in his own way, which he's talked about there. Where he is a quality player, and I'm glad he didn't decide to retire and all that sort of stuff because he would be missed. He's a great lad, and obviously, like he said, we have a beer, you know, most nights and stuff. Maybe have dinner and things. So he's a good lad to be around as well.
Well, I will probably see you tomorrow, mate. Always feel weird ending it because I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for coming on. I'll see you in about half an hour, probably.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to bed for a few hours and I'll see you in the morning. Yeah.
See you in the morning. So that's not the sign off, though, is it?
No.
If you could, we've got a few people lined up. Actually, I know we've missed a couple of weeks on the down the line, but we've got a few people lined up. Hopefully, they message us back. They've said they'll do it. Hopefully they will. So there's some really good ones. So if you could click the subscribe, Jobby, the little notification.
Bell, subscribe, whatever it is.
That'll all tell you when it's all on. But until then, I'll see you next Tuesday.
I'll see you down the line, kid.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.